Okay. Hi. Um, so yeah, my microphone crapped out again. At least I got half an hour this time, which I promised you in the beginning I'm going to keep these to like 18 minutes max, and way have we passed that. Anyway, um, for those who watched the previous one, I'm going to take up exactly after Elizabeth handed Kavanaugh his ass. For those who did not watch, well, this is 38 minutes. We're like halfway through the episode, I suppose. And Elizabeth just handed Kavanaugh his ass. What more do you want? Anyway, she had just come out of this meeting where Kavanaugh just keeps on talking. He just keeps on talking. Every time she tells him to stop talking, I mean, just shut up, or to she told him to worry a bit more about their lives and less about his own ass. And instead of just taking the loss and moving on, no, he has to continue. But before she can get to his feelings, as she's leaving the conference room, Harling and a posse of Athosians insist on talking to her. And at this point, she tells them there isn't time for whatever it is they're concerned about, which is just, yeah, this is how this works. They are on a very tight deadline. Harling should mosey on off, go away. But he, of course, insists, and she actually takes the time to listen to him, if reluctantly. Anyway, Harling tells her that he wants to perform some kind of death ritual for Taylor. See, for Athosians, knowing the time of their death is very important, and he wants to do one of those rituals to prepare her for death. We do see this later on with Taylor's aunt when she dies. I keep forgetting the episode's name. But anyway, at this point, Elizabeth tells Harling to go away. We also get this. I want to point it out again. I know I haven't pointed it out this episode, although I have. Like, I've recorded this 3 times before, so I have pointed this out, but it still bears mentioning. It's not just for me. I'm telling you, I hate the shirt. We get another view of this shirt. The shirt is still ugly, and it's not just that that it's too tight and we can see the shape of her underwear. We can see the color of it, and this is just not appropriate. Like, what? Who had this brain fart? I really need to have words with this a wardrobe person. Like, I don't usually think people. No, there's a lot of people I judge, but I judge this person especially. Anyway, Elizabeth tells him that now is not the time for something like that. But, Harling doesn't take no for an answer either. And he's like, oh, but this is my religion. This is our tradition. And she's like, no. But, of course, he insists and he pushes it, and she explodes. Like, at first I thought, for the first half second, I thought maybe she's going to be diplomatic about this, but no. She explodes, and she tells him that she sure as hell isn't going to send the message to the people in the back of the jumper that they have given up hope of saving them, and that they should all prepare for their deaths. Did she run roughshod over Harling and his beliefs? Yes. Was she right to do so? Yes. In the year of our Lord 2026, would she be cancelled for doing the same thing? Also, yes. This is why we can't have good stories anymore, because social justice warriors have lost their collective minds. That the stuff that's actually important has been shoved to the side for the sake of social justice. Um, I'm sure the warriors will say that she is contemptible for having disrespected Harling. Harling, he is, at this point, he is the minority group and he's just doing his thing, and everyone should respect his beliefs. And you know what? I can pretty much guarantee you that should these warriors find themselves in the back of a puddle jumper in the middle of a space with a bug attached to their necks, or just run of the mill with poop up to their necks, they would want Elizabeth to be running roughshod over Harling any day of the week. But no. Anyway, Harling, I'm sorry, you can go gripe on social media. I'm sure they will have your back and will tell you how absolutely valid you are. Whatever. I really just wish we could stop doing this in media, or that media can get out from under the grip of these warriors and start giving us stories where we see, yes, he has his traditions. Yes, Elizabeth is correct to tell him to shove it. Anyway, we return to the puddle jumper, or, Atlantis and the jumper, because I took these screenshots chronologically, so we get to see the jumper, and then we get to see Carson and his team, and it's a scene reminiscent of Apollo 13, where Carson and his guys lay out the same stuff on their end that Ford has at his disposal in the jumper. In the jumper also, Taylor asks what this is, and it's a portable defibrillator, and Carson says that to defibrillate the bug would mean to defibrillate John, which would mean John's heart would stop. This, of course, is a Chekhov's gun, but this is how Chekhov's gun is supposed to work. The defibrillator is a very good answer to the problem they have set up for themselves, the writers, that is, in this episode. It's a very good setup. It's a very good answer. It's actually quite unexpected. I do recall the first time I didn't really see it coming, and then when Taylor pointed out the defibrillator, I kind of thought, well, wouldn't that work? But then I passed over it, and this is more like they had the answer, so they had to go back and put the defibrillator, the item in, and then it has to be stewing in the back of their minds. This is how life and writing works, and this is how you put a Chekhov's gun in. It is going to be the gun that does the thing, but it's going to do that in an unconventional way. Anyway, the defibrillator aside, Carson tells Ford to just take the stuff and try it one by one on the bug. So actually putting it, I don't know what Carson's job really is, why he unpacked all the stuff, but anyway, that's what he does. Maybe he knows a bit more about science than I do. So anyway, this must have been happening concurrently with Elizabeth's conversation with Harling, for at this point we do cut away from her as she's walking away from Harling. It's the same scene, and we see Kavanaugh catching up to her, and this is my favorite scene in this episode. It's even better than Zelenka, please stop talking, please. Although there's not a lot in this part that I could quote on a day-to-day basis. I can tell my husband often to stop talking, please, but not this. But anyway, it's good enough that I'm going to go through it word for word. I'm really hoping at this point you know what? I'm going to take a moment to see if the what's his name is still working. It seems like I'm still recording my voice. Must be. It's a Timu thing. So I'll just try another Timu thing. Yeah, of course you have to try the Timu stuff. Anyway, so I'm going to go through the conversation word for word. And for those of you who are not interested in that, well, this is going to be the end of the recording. I'll get to the other one tomorrow, and I'll probably be using this because we live out in the sticks. It's a lovely sticks, like. But so any Temu transaction, any purchase takes a week or two to come. So anyway, we have Kavanaugh catching up to Elizabeth, drawing her attention and asking, "What the hell was that?" And Elizabeth, "Excuse me." Also, she's looking at him like he's one of Carson's leeches after it had been salted off. Kavanaugh, I happily left the SGC because I've had it up to here with the military running things, and you just busted me like a private. And Elizabeth, mind you, she's walking away from him at this point. Like, look at his face. He can't believe she's just walking away from him. And she's like, oh, don't be so dramatic. Besides, the Air Force doesn't have privates. I mean, the SGC doesn't have privates because it's Air Force run. I can't remember what a rookie Air Force guy is called, but it's not a private. Like, anyway, I mean, Kavanaugh should have just shut up. Like, I've said this several times. I can say that over again, but that's still the reality of it. He should have just shut up. He should have just shut up right from the start. Anyway, he's like, well, neither do I. You just cut them off, and right in front of my research team. And just look at Elizabeth's face. She's just about to give it to him, like in spades. Also, they're drawing a crowd, so regardless of how much he thought it was in private in front of his research team, this is gonna now be the entire city through. They won't know what started this, but they're gonna get Kavanaugh. They are gonna see Kavanaugh getting his. Anyway, Elizabeth continues, and she tells him, she tells him a civilian is, no. She tells him, I haven't worked up to humiliation yet. No, I'm still getting this wrong. Okay. So he asks her, he tells her, well, neither did I. You just cut them off and right in front of my research team. And she asks him, that is what this is about? You're embarrassed? Humiliated would be a bit more accurate. And guys, anyway, I haven't worked up to humiliation yet. And he's like, I just assumed with a civilian in charge, there would be a bit more. But of course, we never get to hear a bit more what, because she's like, a civilian is in charge. And we're cut off from Earth, which makes Atlantis almost like a colony, doesn't it? And, yeah, I guess this might be why Elizabeth is hated. I know she doesn't have that large a fan base. I mean, the Sparky has a large fan base, but I've noticed a lot of people don't like her, and I'm guessing it might be because she used the C word, colony. Like, yeah, again, this is why we can't have good things anymore, because even I, sitting here in my little house, recording this with like 10 people going to watch it, I have to qualify everything I say, because someone somewhere is going to go out of their minds, because I want to say colonization in and of itself is bad. But I'm probably going to be called a Nazi. There's always like just the 5-second delay towards Nazism. And guys, I know exactly one person who fought in the Second World War growing up, and he's dead now. Anyway, she asked him if they're like a colony, and he's like, yeah, I suppose. And she's like, well, I'm governor of that colony. And well, that's all well and good. Do you have a problem with that? You're missing my point. No, you're missing mine. If you waste one more minute, which could be used to help the people trapped on that ship because of your ego, I promise you, I will dial the coordinates of a very lonely planet where you can be as self-important as you want to be. And of course, Kavanaugh can't believe what he just heard, so he just scoffs. Okay, but I like it. I like it, but he scoffs. And Elizabeth asks him, "You think I'm kidding?" And he wouldn't do that. And instead of challenging him further, she just tells him, "Kavanaugh, get back in there." And he really should have just left. He could have even scoffed again and left, but no, no. He just has to continue with this little lie, which would have had me tossing him off over the railing. He says, "We'll talk about this later." And Elizabeth, bless her heart, she doesn't resort to violence. Instead, she doesn't even display much emotion. Just without missing a beat or pulling a muscle, she tells him, "Never again. Now go." And they don't. The the series respects this conversation enough that they never get back to it. They I think Kavanaugh actually leaves Atlantis as soon as he can, but he returns for some reason. He's just a sucker for punishment. And actually, I want to talk a little bit about Kavanaugh. I love this character. I mean, I hate him, but I love to hate him, which is what you're supposed to do. And I sometimes wonder how much of this is just Ben Cotton, the actor. Um, Maybe he is like that because I've seen him in several stuff afterwards, and he's always just some version of Kavanaugh. Or maybe it is because with his that hairstyle, he has a very punchable face. He has a really punchable face. Um, in fact, he has this lovely death scene in Bionic Woman, which lasted 6 episodes, but 5 or 6. But it was kind of after this. Anyway, at some point, the actor cut his hair and aged a little bit, and that improved his appearance by 100-fold. I haven't seen him in something too recently. Everything's like 10 or 15 years old. I'll have to Google it sometime. Not, I don't think I'm going to watch a movie especially for him. Anyway, I love this scene, but I do believe also that at some point they start using Kavanaugh as a punching bag or a punchline to a joke more often than they should. This is not so bad in the episode where Ronan wants to torture him, which of course we'll get to it. It makes sense in the moment. It's actually it's a very heavy episode. But afterwards he just faints sometimes randomly. Maybe because he fainted once. He knew how to do it. I don't know. They should have let the character retire after Ronan tried. They really should have let the character retire after Ronan tried to torture him at Elizabeth's behalf. But they just had to bring him in one more time for a punchline. So that's on the writers. I think this might be after season 3 because I don't remember it that well, which means this was after Brad Wright left, and the series, in my estimation, went pretty downhill after Brad Wright left, which is something I can talk about now because I only had like 5 minutes left for this episode, but I see it's almost 20 minutes now, and so I'm going to stop talking, partially because I'm getting way off topic, and partially because I'm defending Kavanaugh at this point, which is pretty weird. Like, he should not be a defensible character. He is irredeemable and horrible, and yet I love him, and they should have respected his character more. So anyway, click the like button, click the subscribe, comment, share. I would actually like to know what you think about Kavanaugh. For those who I would actually like to know if people agree that he looks better with his short curly hair instead of the awful slicked back ponytail. Like, I really, I don't like that look on most men, but it really didn't work for him. So anyway, leave your comments in the comment section, because where else will you leave them? And I'll see you soon. Bye.